We are now going to move all the way out west and talk about the California ballot measure to legalize marijuana. It has lost popularity in the past month. The final statewide survey by the field poll before tomorrow's vote shows 42% supporting Prop 19, 49% against. Tim Rosales is campaign manager for No on Prop 19, and he joins us now from Sacramento. Tim, tell us about your stance. I mean, we hear from economists on this show a lot and business leaders. They all seem to support Prop 19. Why are you against it?
Well, even the San Francisco Chronicle has said even if you support legalization of marijuana, Proposition 19 isn't the way to do it. The Rand Corporation came out with a study early on in the campaign saying that the structure of Proposition 19 wouldn't really allow for a huge number of tax revenue returns. And with that, you've got one of the main arguments by proponents is that this will lead to millions or hundreds of millions or billions of dollars in revenue for the state. Unfortunately, there's no tax plan written into Proposition 19, and so that has been debunked by over 40 different newspapers, and again, a report by the Rand Corporation.
So is it purely procedural? Do you actually support the lifting of prohibition on pot?
Well, in our coalition, because we've got a pretty broad coalition, everybody from the California Chamber of Commerce to the California Cannabis Association to the California Police Chiefs Association has a little bit different take as far as legalization of marijuana. Now, certainly there are some that would not support legalization no matter what, but others like the California Cannabis Association would support some type of legalization of marijuana, just not Proposition 19.
All right, we are back now with Tim Rosales, campaign manager for No on Prop 19, talking about tomorrow's big vote. He's in Sacramento and is against the legalization of marijuana in California. Tim, let me ask you about the voters. First of all, I thought it was interesting. You'd think that college kids would turn out en masse to vote for the legalization of pot, and that people who were against it wouldn't be that energized to go out and vote against it. Why do you think that you're going to win tomorrow?
Well, I think you've got a number of things a number of factors that are playing into it. One, across the board, we're seeing that people, the more they learn about this particular initiative, the wording, the language, the more they turn against it. Even young people, those under 40 years old, their base of support for the initiative has decreased. Those in traditionally more progressive areas like the San Francisco Bay, they have declined in support of the initiative. Again, I think it's more of they're finding out what this initiative really entails, all of the other parallel issues, the unintended consequences, if you will, and that it is a jumbled legal nightmare for California, and so that's one of the reasons they're saying no.
You know, it seems like the medical marijuana proposition was also a legal nightmare for California, but a lot of people are growing weed in that state. Don't you think that it would alleviate at least the legalization, Prop 19, some of the violence, some of the arrests? I mean, we have 750,000 arrests in this country every year because of pot possession.
Well, truth be told, in California, less than 1% of anyone in California prisons is there because of marijuana. In fact, if you get caught with an ounce of marijuana or less, it's a $100 ticket. It's been that way for many, many years. The Rand Corporation, again, came out with a study that said just if California legalizes marijuana, it will have virtually no impact on the Mexican drug cartel. This initiative only legalizes marijuana for people 21 and over. You have those 20, 19 and under who will still have to rely on a black market or illegal sales. So, as far as that's concerned, I don't think it will really have any impact. Again, we haven't seen that as far as there's nobody in prison in California for marijuana, for small marijuana use or possession.
Tim, let me ask you finally about financing. No on Prop 19 hasn't received nearly as much money as legalized pot, right? You've had George Soros giving $1 million. You've had the Men's Warehouse founder giving $100,000. You've had Peter Thiel giving a lot of money from PayPal. Why do they attract so much more money from corporate America?
Well, I think you've got, those like George Soros and George Zimmer who are ideologically supportive of drug legalization across the board. They've, been supportive of that in the past, not just marijuana, but other drugs. But I think it's important to note that, they really have outspent our campaign about 10 to 1. And, in this type of climate, especially with, looks like Jerry Brown, leading in the polls here in California, if they can't succeed on this initiative, this year, it will really set them back a long time.
All right, hey, Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Tim Rosales, campaign manager for No on Prop 19. It's interesting to hear a voice on No, especially considering they're favored to win in the polls.